There you go.
We're recording this for my online class to have next semester. As I mentioned earlier in the semester, I try to have guest speakers to come and speak to the class in American government who can provide some insight into the real world of government, real world of politics, so that you're not limited just to the printed page or the dry, dusty lecture that you get, but you get to see the real world as opposed to just the theoretical or the academic presentation of it. And tonight we have Rob Bradley, who's an attorney and a managing partner of the law firm of Coppolusis and Bradley in Orange Park. Rob's wife, Jennifer, and he have 3 children. And he has both his JD from University of Florida Law School as well as his Bachelor of Science in Telecommunication from U of F. He has an incredibly broad background. He started his legal profession as an assistant state attorney for the 4th Judicial Circuit of Florida. He was appointed by Governor Christ as vice chairman of the Clay County Board of County Commissioners. He has recently been appointed to serve as on the board of trustees of this college that you attend. He is the town attorney for the town of Orange Park. He is the city attorney for the city of Keystone Heights. He has served as general counsel to a board that I was elected to for 2 terms, the Board of Supervisors Crossings at Fleming Island Community Development District, which you know as Eagle Harbor. He's also served for the city of Green Cove Springs as special magistrate for code enforcement. He has been president of the Clay County Bar Association, which is one of the highest honors any attorney can be given by his profession. He's also on the Lower St. Johns River Executive Committee, overseeing the implementation of a multi-million-dollar master plan to restrict pollution discharge into the St. Johns River. He's a founding member of the Clay County Victim Services Center. He's on the Board of Management of the YMCA. Has served on the Clay County Charter Review Commission, which every 4 years considers whether or not the county constitution or charter should be amended. And he served as volunteered as general counsel to the Clay County Council on Aging for several years. Rob, I appreciate you coming tonight. He's got a topic that I think you may find of interest more to some of you than others, I hope, but it's relevant. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it.
Hey, everybody. My name is Rob Bradley, and first of all, I want to tell you that you're very fortunate to have Mr. Platt there as your instructor. I've known Tom for many years and served as his attorney when he was on the board out at Eagle Harbor, and he's a real public servant and certainly knows his stuff when it comes to the topic that he's teaching you right now.
You're getting me out of trouble.
Right. Well, yeah, we had some issues over the years, that's for sure, but we made it through. I'm going to talk tonight about alcohol. And the reason I want to talk about alcohol is because it actually, the way that our country has gone about regulating alcohol, when I talk about alcohol, I'm talking about beer, wine, liquor, intoxicants. And the way our country has gone about regulating alcohol is a really interesting kind of story that has implications about how our federal government interacts with our state government and how our state government interacts with our local government. And so alcohol is kind of an interesting thing to talk about anyway. The fact that it has touched the federal law, the state law, and the local law gives us a sort of a reason to tie it into what you study in your class here with Mr. Platt. Does anybody know what article, and what I passed out to y'all is this is the Constitution of the United States, and this is the document that was passed out around. These are the Bill of Rights. This is the amendments to our Constitution, the document that founded our country. And included in Article 1 is Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or the press. So these are real basic, fundamental rights that enable us to have a free country where we can talk about, even criticize our leaders, say good things about our leaders and not feel like we're going to go to jail if we say something that our leaders don't like. And we're able to go to church on Sunday and worship in any way we see fit, any way that maybe our parents taught us, maybe we decide to worship in a way that our parents disagree with. But the beautiful thing about the country that we live in is that we're allowed to do all these things, and these are inalienable rights. These are rights that were given to us just because we were born here on this soil. And if you go to other parts of the world, these are not rights that one has. Sometimes the government will tell you what you're going to do for a job. Sometimes the government will tell you where you're going to go to church. And we are fortunate to live in a country where we can make those decisions for ourselves as adults. And all of you are 18 years older, and you have the right to make a lot of these decisions for yourself. And sometimes I think we tend to forget that the reason why we're able to make a decision to go to school and not have the government tell us to have to do that is because we have a document here that is the fundamental law of our country. It is every law that is passed, whether by your local government or your state government or your federal government, by Congress, any law that is signed by President Obama or any of our prior presidents. All of those laws must be consistent with this fundamental document that you're holding in your hand, and that's something that we should never lose sight of. But you have all these wonderful things I'm talking about: freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and then you get to Article. Go to your third page there. You get to Article 18. Does anybody know what Article 18 is about?
Prohibition of any intoxicating
Prohibition.
Sale,
that's right.
Manufacturing or intoxicating.
That's right. In 1917, the Congress of the United States decided to put in that fundamental, beautiful document that has all these wonderful fundamental rights and important things. They decided that within that document is going to be the fact that you're not allowed to have sell, drink, hand over, possess booze, and that was the law of the land in 1917. And that was very controversial. That was back in that day for several reasons, and I'm happy for y'all we can discuss about whether these are good ideas or bad ideas. I mean, obviously there's a lot of negative effects that alcohol has in people's lives personally, and it affects if you drink and drive, you can kill somebody, and if you drink in excess, then you probably will not be making good decisions, and you will be making people around you very unhappy. So obviously there's certainly compelling reasons to regulate alcohol, but the law at the time in 1917 was that you weren't allowed to make that decision about whether to drink it or not. And can anybody tell you if on that same page we go to Article 21? Check that out for a second. What do you think that does? Anyone raise your hand? It says the 18th article is repealed. So it says it's out of there. No longer is a part of the Constitution, your fundamental document, the idea that alcohol is illegal. But then it goes on to do something crazy in Section 2. It says the transportation or importation in any state, territory, or possession of the United States for delivery or use therein of intoxicating liquors in violation of laws thereof is hereby prohibited. So you're like, wait a second. Is that saying that it's prohibited? Doesn't that sound like what they said in back in the 18th Amendment, doesn't it? But there's these 6 little words in there. In violation of the laws thereof. Embedded in there. That's very important. That's the whole deal right there. What that tells you is that if a state wants to say you're allowed to sell alcohol in the state of Florida, or you're allowed to sell alcohol in the state of Georgia, then they have the right to do that, according to this document. But if they don't say that, if the state doesn't say that, then it's illegal. Well, the state of Florida has decided to go ahead and say that you're allowed to sell alcohol in the state of Florida. As a matter of fact, it's contained in the state of Florida's Constitution. Does anybody know what is more powerful, the Constitution of the United States or the Constitution of the state of Florida? Right, because the top of the chart, the one that the big daddy is the United States Constitution, right? That's above everything else. Any law that any local government, state government, Congress passes has to be consistent with